The desert wind bit at my face, stinging with dust and grit. Rifle fire cracked around us, a constant, terrifying rhythm. "Jenkins, cover fire! Thompson, suppress that machine gun!" I yelled, my voice hoarse. My M4 carbine felt heavy and familiar in my hands. We had been fighting for hours, pushing forward through the chaos. Suddenly, a piercing whine cut through the gunfire. A strange experimental device, positioned near our objective, took a direct hit. It began to glow, humming louder and louder. Before I could shout a warning, it overloaded. A blinding, silent flash of pure white light erupted, engulfing everything. The world simply vanished. I gasped, my lungs burning, and my eyes fluttered open. The acrid smell of dust and cordite was gone, replaced by damp earth and unfamiliar foliage. I was no longer in the scorching desert. Towering trees, unlike any I had ever seen, loomed overhead, their branches forming a thick canopy. Strange, vibrant plants grew everywhere, creating a surreal, primordial forest. Confusion washed over me. My first instinct was to check my gear. My M4 carbine was still clutched in my hand, thankfully intact. I reached for my radio, hoping for a signal, for any contact, but all I heard was a hollow, persistent static. I tried again, twisting the dial, but nothing changed. The realization hit me. I was completely cut off, isolated. "Jenkins!" I called out, my voice echoing strangely in the quiet forest. A few yards away, I saw movement. Corporal Samuel Jenkins was slowly sitting up, looking dazed but alive. Relief washed over me, a brief moment of calm in the confusion. "You okay, Sam?" I asked, helping him to his feet. He nodded slowly. We were the only two here. We cautiously surveyed our surroundings. Near where we had landed, half buried in the damp earth, was a piece of the experimental device. It was a shard of dark, twisted metal, about the size of a human fist. It seemed to absorb the light, and a low, constant hum emanated from it. Its shape was subtly wrong, with angles that seemed to shift when we looked away. This was the anomaly remnant, the cause of our predicament. Jenkins pulled out his tactical tablet, its rugged olive-drab case showing a new crack. He tapped the screen, trying to get a read on our location. "No signal, Sergeant," he mumbled, his brow furrowed. The GPS displayed our position in the middle of an ocean, thousands of miles from anywhere. The map flickered erratically, showing nonsensical, hand-drawn terrain mixed with satellite imagery. A wave of technological dread washed over us. Suddenly, a deep, guttural roar ripped through the quiet of the forest. It was a sound unlike any animal I had ever heard, primal and immense. It echoed, making the very ground seem to vibrate. Jenkins and I exchanged a look of serious concern. Our faces, already tired, now showed a new, unsettling fear. We were not alone, and whatever was out there, it sounded dangerous. "We need to move," I whispered, my voice low and urgent. Jenkins nodded, already gripping his rifle tighter. We decided to advance cautiously, rifles at the ready. Every snap of a twig, every rustle in the dense undergrowth made us flinch. The air was thick with tension as we pushed deeper into the unknown. Our modern training felt strangely out of place here. As we moved, I spotted something in the soft, muddy ground. Enormous, three-toed tracks were pressed deep into the mud, much larger than any bear or big cat. They confirmed our fears. Whatever made that roar was not only real, but also incredibly massive. This was a creature from a nightmare, and we were in its territory. A chilling sense of foreboding settled over me. Suddenly, a massive shadow burst from the dense trees. It was the grave maw, charging directly at us with terrifying speed. Its small red eyes glowed with pure malice. The ground shook with each heavy step. My heart pounded hard against my ribs. I reacted without thinking, raising my M4 carbine. I opened fire, sending a burst of bullets towards the charging beast. However, the rounds hit its rock-like backplates with loud metallic pings. They ricocheted harmlessly into the air. It was like shooting at a moving boulder, and a wave of desperation washed over me.
"Cover me!" I yelled, fumbling for a new magazine. Corporal Jenkins immediately understood. He dropped to one knee and started laying down, suppressing fire. His bullets also pinged off the grave maw, but his aim was to draw its attention. The creature's head twitched, annoyed by the constant noise. The grave maw, now truly enraged, ignored our futile bullets. It let out a guttural roar that shook the very ground. With a terrifying display of strength, it smashed its head into a large old oak tree. The trunk splintered with a sickening crack. The massive tree began to fall, perilously close to our position. Just as the tree began its slow, dangerous descent, something unexpected happened. A flash of green streaked through the air. A long, fletched arrow, impossibly fast, embedded itself deep into the grave maw's glowing red eye. The beast shrieked, a sound of pure agony. It stumbled, its charge broken.
My eyes immediately darted to the source. High on a sturdy branch, an elegant figure was revealed. It was an elf, Valeriana, her silver hair catching the dim light. She calmly knocked another arrow onto her longbow. Her movements were fluid and precise, a stark contrast to our frantic struggle. Without hesitation, Valeriana released her second arrow. This one found a soft spot in the grave maw's thick neck near its shoulder. The creature roared again, a sound of profound pain and weakening. It stumbled hard, its massive legs buckling. The beast was clearly hurt, and its rage turned to agony. I saw my chance, a narrow window of opportunity. The elf had opened a weakness. I raised my M4, aiming carefully at the wound Valeriana had created. I fired a controlled burst, emptying the rest of my magazine into that vulnerable spot. The grave maw shuddered violently, then collapsed to the ground with a final heavy thud. A tense silence fell over the forest, broken only by our heavy breathing. The immediate danger was gone, but a new, mysterious one had appeared. Jenkins and I instinctively aimed our M4s at the strange figure in the trees. She was an unknown, a potential threat. Our rifles were ready, our eyes fixed on her. Valeriana, however, showed no fear. She gracefully dropped from the branch, landing softly on the forest floor without a sound. She lowered her elven longbow, her gaze calm and steady. Then she spoke, her voice clear and formal. "You wield strange thunder, outsiders." I slowly lowered my M4 carbine, the metallic click echoing in the sudden silence. My training screamed at me to maintain a defensive posture, but the elf's calm demeanor suggested she wasn't an immediate threat. We needed answers, and she was our only lead in this strange place. "All right," I said, my voice hoarse. "Where exactly are we?" Valeriana's gaze swept across the ancient trees, her expression somber. "You stand upon Erthos," she replied, her voice soft but clear. "The beast you faced, the grave maw, was once a creature of the forest, but it has been twisted by the blight." She explained that this blight was a creeping corruption, poisoning the very land and turning its inhabitants into monstrous versions of themselves. Jenkins, ever the curious one, stepped forward, holding up his tactical tablet. Its cracked screen flickered erratically, displaying corrupted data and a nonsensical map. This thing brought us here, we think, he explained, pointing at the glowing device. Valeriana's eyes widened, a mix of suspicion and fascination on her face. "A scrying box?" she murmured. "I have never seen such magic." Valeriana turned back to us, her expression now stern. "Your iron weapons are powerful, yes, but they are also loud," she warned, her gaze lingering on my rifle. "The sound of them travels far. The grave maw was only one creature corrupted by the blight. There are others, and not all are beasts. You are a beacon for unwanted attention in these lands." Her warning settled heavily in the air. She was right, we were completely exposed. "For our mutual safety," Valeriana continued, sensing our apprehension, "I can guide you to the nearest human settlement. It is a town called Silverwood. There you might find answers and perhaps a safer place to understand your predicament." It was a chance, however slim, and we had to take it. As we followed Valeriana, the signs of the blight became more frequent and unsettling. We passed through patches of forest where the trees were blackened and twisted, their leaves brittle and lifeless. The air grew heavy, and the usual sounds of the forest, birdsong, rustling leaves, were eerily absent. It was unnaturally silent, a chilling testament to the blight's pervasive reach. After hours of cautious travel, Valeriana led us to a high ridge overlooking a vast valley. Below, nestled amongst the distant hills, should have been Silverwood. But what we saw instead made my blood run cold. Thick black smoke billowed into the sky, rising from the very location where the town was supposed to be. The smell of burning wood and something far worse drifted on the wind. Valeriana's face was grim, her elegant features etched with dread. "The blight moves faster than I feared," she whispered, her voice heavy with despair. Jenkins and I stared at the burning town, the acrid smell filling our nostrils. The hope we had felt just hours ago vanished, replaced by a stark, terrifying realization. Our fight for survival had just begun.